I'd like to call the September 15th, 2022 regular meeting of the Franklin School Board to order, and I apologize for starting 40 minutes late. Thank you all for coming and being with us. Do we have a motion to come out of closed session?
I move that the school board, having been in closed session pursuant to a proper motion, come out of closed session.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Do we have a motion for certification?
Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Thank you, Carrie. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? That motion carries. Do we have motions for closed session?
I move to approve the personnel agenda, items 1 through 5 and 21 through 23.
Thank you, Marshall. Do we have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? That motion carries. Would you join me in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve our agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? That motion carries. Would someone read the mission of the Franklin City Public Schools, please?
The mission of the Franklin City Public School is to work in partnership with students, families, and the community to provide enrichment opportunities to empower individual learners to maximize their potential in becoming critical thinkers, productive citizens, and lifelong learners.
Thank you, Tanya. Ms. Moore, roll call, please.
Robert Holt,
Present?
Arlene Hampton,
Present.
Tanya Smith,
Present.
Michelle Williams,
Present.
Brittany Powell,
Present.
Jalen Hurd,
Present.
Carrie Johnson.
Present.
Thank you. Do we have anyone signed up for citizens' time? Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda. First item, 3.1, is our laptop waiver fee. Dr. Sterling?
I gave you the little notes. Okay.
Oh, you want me to read
I
them?
gave you notes, yes.
Franklin City Public School laptop fee waiver.
All right.
Due to continued financial hardships endured by Franklin City Public School families, it is recommended that the 2022-23 laptop optional insurance fee of $25 is waived for each student. This will ensure that all laptops used by the students have adequate insurance. All student laptops are currently under an extended warranty. Any questions on that? No. VDUA SOQ verification report, please.
Okay, this is our yearly standards of quality report submitted by the board on teachers. You have a PO 23-234 klog.com. This is for the first and second grade furniture. We're happy to say we have currently outfitted all classrooms in grades 3 through 5, and many of you board members did a little mini walkthrough, so you see the new classrooms, and they're absolutely loving it. So we would like to replace the classrooms to a more collaborative classrooms in grades first and second using our ESSA funding. The MOU with the Franklin City regarding bus parking. The city contacted us and stated that the city needs an MOU since FCPS school buses are parked in the garage, in the city's garage. This had not been done before, however, City Council requested this MOU. Camp Community College Clinical Affiliation Agreement, yearly agreement that allows camp students to complete clinical hours within FCPS, and we enjoy having that agreement with them because they work with us, with our nurses aid students as well. Camp Community College Dual Enrollment Agreement, as you all know, we have a considerable amount of students that attend Camp Community College to receive their dual enrollment credits, and we have to have an MOU, and this is done yearly. And this is new for us, Virginia State University / College of Education Partnership Affiliation Agreement. Thanks to the HR department, we're always searching, casting a wide net to ensure that we're partnering with teacher education programs. And this will allow Virginia State University students to conduct student teaching requirements within FCPS.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sterling.
Yes, sir.
Since that's sort of a sub-block, unless the board member has an objection, do we have a motion to approve consent items 3.1 through 3.7?
Also move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. We have minutes for our June 2nd, June 16th, June 30th, and August 18th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to table items 3.7 through 3.11 until our next meeting to provide some additional time to review the minutes.
You mean 3.8?
Excuse me, I'll revise my motion. 3.8, 3.9, 3.10, 3.11 for the purpose of having more time to review the minutes for accuracy.
Do we have a second?
I so move.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to table 3.8 through 3.11 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Who abstained?
I did.
Carry. That motion carries. Special recognition, item 4.1, introduction of building administrative teams.
Before we do the introduction of administrative teams, thank you, Dr. White. You are right on point. Mr. Holt, Chairman, can we go ahead on and introduce our student representative of the month? Because I've noticed that she was not on our agenda to give the updates for the schools.
You may. Please do.
Is that okay? Thank you so much. Student representative of the month, Naziah Turner. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our September School Board Student Representative, Naziah Turner. Naziah is a senior at FHS and a dual enrollment student through our partnership with Camp Community College and Tidewater Community College. She is a hardworking and well-rounded student who works hard to accomplish her goals. She is currently ranked, and this is my favorite number 4 in her class and has a 3.9 grade point average. She participates in many school organizations and clubs such as Marching Band, Track and Field, Future Business Leaders of America, National Honor Society, and Young Women in Action. She still finds time to work part-time at Hardee's. After graduation, Naziah plans to go to a 4-year college and major in early childhood education. Get her application, HR, please. As you can see, Naziah has a plan, and there is no doubt she will be successful in life after graduating from Franklin High School. Congratulations.
Welcome, Isaiah. Thank you.
Good
She's
afternoon.
going to give the updates.
Now, Dr. White.
Oh, no, not yet, Mr. Host. She's going to give her updates. It's been 2 years since COVID since we've had a representative. So go ahead.
Reports for Franklin High School. FHS has started their school year off strong with 380 bright, talented students. Our team is composed of 68 extremely talented faculty members and staff members. We have completed student growth assessment testing for our 8th grade English and math students. Class meetings are held to discuss our focus on safety, expectations for the school, and goals for 2022-2023. Benchmark testing is on October 5th and October 6th. We have increased our participation in dual enrollment and started the new EPIC program at Camp Community College. We have 10 seniors in EPIC, 28 students in Vanguard, and a total of 68 students taking at least one dual enrollment class this school year. We have completed 3 safety drills so far, 2 fire evacuation drills, and 1 code red drill. Senior portraits have been completed. Seniors had 2 opportunities to take their pictures at FHS, July 28th and September 12th. Fall sports are off to a great start. Golf and cross country are competing weekly. JV volleyball is off to a 1-3 start with a victory over Greensville. Varsity volleyball is off to a 1-4 start with a victory over Brunswick. Varsity football is off to a 2-0 start with victories over Amelia and Colonia Beach. We are playing Surrey in volleyball and Essex in football tonight. We are preparing for Homecoming 2022. The homecoming football game is Friday, October 7th, and the dance is Saturday, October 8th. We will have Spirit Week, October 3rd through the 7th. J.P. King, S.P. Morton, and Central Office are joining us in our homecoming festivities. Nominations for Homecoming Court were today. Voting will be Monday, and the theme for the dance is Autumn Nights. We had our first pep rally of the school year last Friday. The seniors won the steer stick, and Theta Moores won the football throwing competition. Our band is growing. We continue to improve under the leadership of Mr. Davis and with Mrs. Smith teaching music theory and how to play instruments at J.P. King. Please continue to support us during our celebrations and our challenges this year. We need everyone's support. Report for J.P. King Middle School. School started on Tuesday, September 6th, and everyone at J.P. King hit the ground running. Each morning during the first week, we greeted our parents, guardians, and students with music, pom-poms, cheers, and lots of excitement. Completed 8 days of teaching and learning. Set the tone in the building by establishing universal nonverbal cues. Teach twos, hall transitions, cafeteria expectations, classroom expectations, and the likes of Mrs. Gunter, the AP, held our town meetings for each grade level during the first week of school to ensure that everyone understood the J.P. King way of operating within the school. We held our first fire drill of the school year and effectively and efficiently got everyone out and back into the building within 5 minutes. We are continuing to push to get all of our students registered with transportation by the September 23rd deadline so they receive their IDs. Report for S.P. Morton Elementary School. Our enrollment count in Power School is currently 491 students, pre-K through 5th grade. The start of school was a little hectic as to be expected. Between parent pickup and buses, we were 1 hour and 30 minutes into dismissing the entire school. Teachers and administrators were directed to work on classroom building and hall passage protocols to accumulate students to expectations throughout the day. We utilized Parent Square to communicate our progress with parents and expectations around parent pickup and picking up students early every day. This is our biggest challenge area with parents. We allow parents in the school to walk their students to class as many of them needed the extra encouragement to depart from their parents. Day 2 dismissal process took 40 minutes, buses and parent pickup. As of today, we have a parent pickup time departing between 16 minutes and 20 minutes. Our goal is to have parent pickup completed within 15 minutes or less. SP Morton's on the right path. We are looking for better cooperation with parents as it relates to loss of instructional time due to early dismissals occurring between 1:30 p.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. We are awaiting the distribution of ID badges, which will be a game changer as it relates to the dismissal process. SGA testing is scheduled to occur next week, September 21st and 22nd. We have completed 2 fire drills with the exit time of 4 minutes and 3 minutes and 30 seconds, respectively. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, Dr. White.
Good evening again, Board.
Good evening.
Guests, I have the pleasure today of introducing our wonderful building administrators. I'm going to call them up as they come up. If you would introduce your assistant principals and your leadership team. We're going to start with Franklin High School, Mr. Travis Phelps.
So you want me to introduce them when they come up? Okay. Y'all want to all come up together?
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. And then I'll. Yeah. All right. So we have a administrative team of 5 this year. I don't know what to do with this microphone tonight. It's like I'm gonna let it just do what it wants to do. To my left, I have Ms. Tanyika Thornton, one of our assistant principals. Also, Dr. Robert Parsons. We have Mr. Walter Marshall. And new, starting on the 20th, right? But thank you for coming tonight. We have Mr. Paul Jackson. So this is our administrative team. We're excited. I think we're a strong group. We have different skill sets that we bring to the table, and all of us will learn and work together at Franklin High School. So let's give all these people a hand.
Travis, can you please share your vision for this year?
Our vision for this year, okay, and we were just one, the main.
Whatever you like.
Okay. The number 1 goal for this year is school safety.
That's
and maintaining an orderly environment conducive to learning. We have really focused on increasing our procedure for visitors entering the building and keeping the doors locked at all times and screening students. We always have emphasized that, but we're doing it even more this year. Also, just like I said, running an orderly environment that's conducive to learning, and of course, academically, we're looking to make big improvements in science. Graduation rates, we were still level 1, but we want to go back into the 90s. And of course, chronic absenteeism was a challenge for us last school year, and we're focusing on that right from day 1. We're down to just 10 no-shows out of our 380 students that are on the Power School roster. We're still looking for 10, but not anything like 30 or 40 like we have been. So those would be our big focus areas. All right?
You did great.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you so very much, Franklin High School. Up next, we have Principal Dr. Regina Stafford, J.P. King Middle School.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am Regina Stafford, and I am the proud principal of Joseph P. King Middle School. And we are the dynamic duo. This is my right-hand lady, Mrs. Gunter. Can't do very, very much of anything without her. Our focus at Joseph P. King for the second year is ICE. And ICE stands for, the I is instruction, the C is climate and culture, and the E is equity. But not just any instruction, quality instruction that moves our students forward and gets them to not only the point of achievement, but the point of advancement. And C, climate and culture that's conducive to student learning, and equity, just making sure that each and every one of our students achieve what they need individually to progress forward. And that's not necessarily limited to academics. It's receive what they need individually also to become a productive citizen. Now, what have we done thus far for ICE? I'm going to hurry up, Dr. Stern.
No, go ahead.
So I'll just give you just a few things. So under the I, put my glasses on here. Under the I, we started out with our instructional cycle, making sure that our teachers had a solid foundation and understanding of the alignment of the written, taught, and tested curriculum. And I'll take it back just a little bit further. Pre-service was 2 weeks. So we called our teachers in, our new teachers in a week early, and we called that the pre-service, so that we could give them copies of the curriculum framework, the blueprint, the VDOE blueprint, and the pacing guide, just so that they had a little bit more time to digest it before actually the pre-service started, so they wouldn't be overwhelmed. They could get it, read it a little bit earlier, and have a chance to process it. So when we started with the real pre-service, they could digest it a little bit better. And then under the C for climate and culture, some of the things we have done, we've done a lot more, but just some of the things, I don't want Dr. Sterling to start looking at me, is we went over our classroom management plan, we went over Teach Twos for them and the students, the faculty handbook. Mrs. Gunter did town hall meetings with the students, just so that we could be well on our way to developing that climate and culture that is conducive to learning. And then under equity, some of the things we have done is attend professional developments on. One was the mandatory reporting, because again, we want to make sure that all of our students get what they need, and the supports and the scaffolding. Individually, we have made sure that they attended the professional developments that were offered for exceptional students, but also that they understood how important it is to have rigor in your lessons, so that not only the exceptional education students got the scaffolding that they needed, but our advanced track students got the rigor that they needed to challenge them and to advance them even further than just achieving. So, ICE. Anytime you come into Joseph P. King Middle School, I challenge you to ask a student, to stop a student and ask them, what does ICE stand for? They should be able to tell you that it stands for Instruction, Climate and Culture, and Equity. Thank you.
Before you continue, I just want to be clear that we usually have an action-packed agenda. So I tried to tell the team, if you could just limit it to 3 to 5 minutes. So that's why they're looking at me like, Dr. Stern, I'm going to go a little longer, which is okay. You can go as long as you like today. We don't have an extensive agenda. And we were a little late coming on the day, so please take your time.
All righty, up next, board, I introduce to you Mr. Charles Spain, new principal at Samuel P. Morton Elementary School. Mr. Spain.
They've got their blue and gold too, Mr. Phelps.
Yeah, you like it?
My SP Morton bow tie.
I like it.
Good evening, Board Chair Alt, Vice Chair Johnson, Superintendent Dr. Sterling. My name is Charles Spain, again, the proud principal of SP Morton Elementary. I have with me two dynamic ladies to my left and right. To my right, I have Miss Alicia Gatlin, graduate of Virginia Union University, magna cum laude in mathematics, Shawan University with a master's degree in elementary education, and also a master's degree in education administration from the University of Phoenix, and over 20 years of teaching in grades 7 through 12. Miss Alicia Gatlin, and she's also an adjunct professor at Shawan Community College. Miss Alicia Gatlin. And to my left, I have Mrs. Angela Ellsworth Fair. She's a Franklin native, you all. A graduate of Norfolk State University with a bachelor's in special education, a master's degree from Regent University in education, curriculum studies, and design, and also an administrative license from Longwood University. She has over 27 years of experience in education. Mrs. Angela Ellsworth Fair. So again, as mentioned, the first day for us, I think we all just looked at each other like, okay, what do we sign up for? and the second day I just laid in bed a little longer.
Yeah.
And finally I got up with a plan, and I got up with one that was on fire. Dr. Sterling, I want to say thank you to your team, first of all, before I go any further. Dr. White, Mr. Walters, Dr. Carter, Ms. Stratton, Ms. Moore, and also Mr. Cowles. All have been very welcoming and have been, as always said, if you need something, call. And every time I've called, they've answered. So I do really appreciate everybody. You too, Tammy. So we start with the bus issue. As I mentioned, as the student mentioned, we were an hour and a half that first day. And we came back and we gathered together and we came with a plan. We got it down to 45 minutes. I want to report today we were out of that school 16 minutes in parent bus loop and 20 minutes beyond with the buses. And so it's something that is working, and it's all hands on deck activity. And we worked on structure. I don't believe you can do any type of teaching until you have some structure. And that's just me. And must be the father figure in me, everything else in me. No, we need structure and order. And so, and with that, we just we talked to all the teachers, and the teachers all got together and everything that we asked. And at first there was a little tug of war, but when they settled in, everybody was on board. And so we were able to get all of this done with their, and it was a give and take the entire time, because I want them to know that their voices are just as important as ours. And so, and we have that relationship built there. So our goal, of course, is going to be to continue to increase our academic achievement, student engagement. We want to be active in more academic competitions throughout the year, including the spelling bee, math fair, science fair, to bring back that whole idea of what education is. And so I can say for certain that I and the parents are enjoying Parent Square. It is a game changer. It gives me the opportunity to really have one-on-one with parents online, and they can keep it nice and G-rated. And so it really helps with that communication. I think they are enjoying the videos and my being really transparent with what's actually taking place. And I don't think there's anything we can do with that. Our slogan for this year, 2022-23, and I stole it from Dr. Sterling because of her son. I got this, you got this, we got this together. And that's what we've done so far, and we're planning to continue to do the same. And I thank you for your time.
How do you like the new modular unit?
Oh, I love it.
Don't all speak at once. Go
Right.
ahead.
I actually asked Ms. Gatling, you want to change offices so I could have that room over there? But
I like the furniture. It's really functional, I
Yes.
think.
it's a game changer, especially for students who are afraid to raise their hand and be acknowledged for things they can write about in life.
Right. Thank you.
Can I ask a question also? I was just curious about Parent Square, I think, because that's fairly new.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
It's
so
new.
the parents, I mean, it sounds like they're responding very positively
They're responding,
themselves.
they're sending the love emojis, the appreciation, and all of that.
Good.
And so if they have questions, that's the way that they actually communicate. And we'll stop in the parking lot and we have a conversation about whatever it is they want to talk about further. To be honest, so
Good.
it's a game changer, and everybody gets it. So.
One of the things I like is that each school will send, because I have two kids at two different schools, so I'll get the upcoming curriculum and expectations for next week through Parent Square. And it's a nice little email. It looks like a little newsletter on my phone, and it says, hey, we're covering this next week, standard here, make certain that the child is there on time. It just gives me peace of mind as a parent that I'm connecting with the teacher's connecting with me. So I just want to say thank you. And then, of course, Mr. Spain does videos. So on Sunday, I open up my video, and he gives the message for the week, what he expects of the parents. He had an issue with parents not bringing their children on time. He made certain he laid that out and what his expectations are. And he had an issue with parents. That's not me. But he had an issue with parents picking their children up early, and he laid that out in the video. I think it was about 11-minute video, but I watched the entire thing. I emojied it, thumbs up, and I just want to thank you for keeping all of the parents informed, because I do look forward to your messages.
Are the parents able to, other than emojis, are they able to respond back through Parent Square?
And they will text message back.
Yeah.
For instance, today we had a parent that, while I was at my desk, sent a message. So I was able to respond to that parent right then and there. I loved it because they had sent me a message about one of their children and why they were not there, and that they would be coming back. So I was able to get on to that right then and there. And it's not like waiting a whole 24 hours. So I love it. I really do love it.
Good. My hope is that all the parents will start catching on, and then it will become widely used by all the parents.
We hope so. And then we're going to share with the board the usage, because we get the usage report on how many messages went out, how many parents received the message, who responded back. We get all of that. So we're definitely going to share that matrix, because it's a part of our parent engagement piece
All
this
right,
year.
good. Yeah, that's was
And
something I was
even
hoping for.
This afternoon, because we had to combine buses, I just stopped and just sent that message because we knew that we were going to be later than normal, and instantly parents were like thumbs up because they were waiting. And so it's a game changer. if
Good.
we use it. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Next up, our financial report, Mr. Ryder.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
All right. I think we have the vouchers first. Is that right, Tammy? Swap the video. Okay.
Hold on just 1 second, Jeff, if you don't mind.
right.
Dr. White, if you can come on the agenda and do the COVID letter.
Good evening again. I'm going to get in and out of your way. So I presented to you our updated COVID-19 policies that we retrieved from the VDH website. This information is for your information, and it will be going home to our parents and families Monday. Any questions or concerns? So again, it came straight from the VDH website by way of VDOE. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so these are the August vouchers for pay. Excuse me, vouchers for payment. August is traditionally a heavy month for dollars going out the door as we pay for annual things once. And a lot of times it hits in sometimes July, sometimes August. This year just happened to hit in August. A couple of those were the insurance to Vacor. A big Dell purchase there to get the computers up and ready to go before the September start of school. Pushing the money out to the buildings for their activity, for the instruction funds for the buildings. Participate Learning, we only pay that once a year, and that was paid in August. So it's it's kind of a larger check run than you're used to seeing. Usually it's $200,000 or $300,000, but this was $564,000. Nothing, no surprises. It's totally expected, and it had little to no effect on our cash flow. Down in the grants, certainly the two K-Log invoices for about $250,000 also expected, and the grant portion of the HVAC bill that was paid to Power Mechanical for $119,000, that was also paid. So that $393,000 there in August comes back to us in September. All right. Hearing none, I guess we can go on to the financial presentation. Okay, so the first item is the status of the fiscal year 2022 financial statements. I know I keep saying they're very near complete, but I mean, the auditors have left. They haven't published their final version. That usually comes out in about 2 weeks. It is due to the city by September 30th, but I have been in constant contact with them, and there are no more entries that they can think of, and I have no more entries. So these are the final. I think these will be the final financials. Are very, very close to this, unless the magic thing pops up out of nowhere. But we, like this is the Fund 10. This is the general fund under the blue heading there. We try to get that bottom line down to zero as best we can, but sometimes supply chain disruptions and short staffing works against us. So we ended up with a $362,000 surplus. I had a disagreement with the auditors. I tried to accrue about $160,000 of expenses that were my best estimate for things that had arrived, but they said, without the actual invoice, we're not going to allow you to accrue it. So it went back onto the bottom line. So that goes into the rollover request. The next one, I don't think the next one changed. I think that's the textbook. Yeah, that was intentionally spent into deficit to reduce the beginning of year balance. And then there was a debt that was owed to the textbook fund from the general fund. It had been there since 2017, and I figured, well, we have the money, so we might as well pay it. Otherwise, it's going to sit there forever until we end up paying it. So it was a legal obligation. It's done now, and so the textbook fund increased by $82,000 over and above what the state had gave us for our funding last year. So, got an ending balance of about 127, and so we'll be looking to spend that in 2023. The nutrition fund, did actually ended up the year with a slight surplus. But this is a exclusive fund that is owned by the school division, so none of that reverts to the city. You don't ask for rollover on the nutrition fund. And then the grants, on the grants, usually, you hear you say all year long that they are always in deficit, and they are until June 30th, right about now. So that negative 40,000 down there should be zero. But, again, some 30-some grants, and if they don't send us the revenue by August 31st, I can't accrue it. I can't push it back into the prior year. So we had some expenses that, they didn't send us a reimbursement until September. So it appears as a $41,000 deficit, but we actually got the money in September. So probably for fiscal year 23, you'll see a $40,000 surplus, where it should be zero. Excuse me. And then, so finally, the overall income statement, when you add all those, surpluses and deficits up, you come up with about $217,844 for overall division-wide surplus. And so this is just a quick little, commentary on the year. So fiscal year, as you know, fiscal year 2022 was very challenging for Franklin City Public Schools. Our staffing problems plagued the division all year long, and which generated vacancy savings, which despite our best efforts, we could not spend it before June 30th. Most people recall, last October we had a delay in receiving grant reimbursements, and it caused a very temporary negative cash flow situation with the city, and it caused extreme distress for the city officials. So that experience issued in a whole new accounting practice. I'm not saying I'm glad it happened, but a very positive thing came out of that, where we monitor our cash flow on a weekly basis now. We're all over it. So, and then the last thing was the grant there. So the next steps to close out the year and put it into the history books is on the next slide. There we go. And so Had we issued the purchase orders and not canceled orders due to supply chain shortage, supply chain stoppages and delayed shipments and lack of staffing, that $362,000 surplus would not have happened. We would not have had that. So in the rollover request that we will make of the city, probably in October, after their audit is complete, is here. This in the blue shade are actual purchase orders we have issued. So we have to pay those dollars out in fiscal year 2023. And then the bottom four items, the bottom four items are things that we had to delay because the vendor told us they couldn't get materials anyway. And so some of these things have also, started. The bottom item, the workers' comp audit, that's definitely going to happen, and it's going to happen sometime in September. So you can see that's past the August 31st deadline for accruing payables. So at the next Finance Committee meeting, I will be bringing this in as the official request for the rollover. And so then that will be pretty much closing out fiscal year 2022. Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for putting this out, what purchase orders went out, what couldn't be done, and why there's that rollover, because that makes it very explicit. And
yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, the city won't even entertain the request if I don't substantiate why we want it. So, so we got to do that. We have to do it. The next item up is, the August 31st financials. I can go through these pretty quickly. Again, they're not very helpful in that we still aren't paying teacher payroll until September, but I do crank them out just so everybody knows. So it looks almost exactly the same as last month with July, only it's got another month of figures. So you can see, so for the way you kind of look at that is, 2/12 or 17% of the year has gone by, and that kind of tells you how much of the expenses has been incurred. Only the operations maintenance, so salary and S&B is salary and benefits. That's the only thing that hit it right on 17%. So you can see the teacher salaries and benefits are only 5% incurred, and that's because we haven't paid anything in July and August. That's why you have such a large surplus. And yeah, the textbook fund, we haven't done anything. We don't fund this until usually it's either the end of the year, or depending on how we're spending, we get 24 payments per year from the state, and so that all goes into Fund 10, and then I expense it, usually at the end of the year. But it depends on when they need it. Last year we had to make 2 payments because I think Burkhalter had spent it, and then we needed that money right away. So that'll unfold throughout the year. The nutrition, that's fine. I mean, we're not really serving meals, but we, and that's why you can see there we do have the staff and some expenses being incurred, and we have the local other. That's the a la carte, or that's the senior services. The senior services of Southeastern Virginia, we still have that going all summer long. And there's some summer programs that Melissa Vargas can speak to. But you can see there the bank balance, the beginning bank balance, $612,000, that's the highest balance it's ever had. And so we are going to get there's no doubt we're going to get a nice letter from the Virginia Department of Education. We got to spend that down. Oh, and the grants, obviously. Excuse me. Due to the year-end closing problems, or the normal workload is quite large at the end of the year. We usually don't have a running deficit this high, but you can see we've got July and August expenses going in, and we didn't receive the July reimbursements until like the first week of September. So that $659,000 deficit, we got like half of that just like last week. But since it came in September, I couldn't put it in there. So, but this grant income statement, it always catches up. It always catches up. So that's where we are at the end of we're almost at break even. So that's where we're at through at the end of August. So the financial statements will really start filling in now, and once the Septembers are published. I think I'm going to be presenting those at the October 20th board meeting. Are there any questions on those financials?
Jeff, I had a general question. I had on my calendar that we might receive a draft audit today. Did we get that or not?
That's the next item. The audit actually, well, no. The overall audit, yeah, that's due. And yeah, it is September 15th. It's due somewhere around about now. So I was going to be, I wanted to actually show everybody these are the activity funds. And then, but then the overall statement, they actually asked me for one final listing of financials today that I sent them. So I think what happens is they get it ready to go, Robert, and then they have to go through this whole peer review, like 2 or 3 other partners read it over to make sure it's correct. So I will be checking on that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I am not going to read through all, 15, 20 pages of this. These are the activity funds that our outside auditors audit every year, and they issue an opinion on every statement, each of the schools. And so they will list some of their findings, maybe a check didn't get written in time or a deposit wasn't, deposited right away. So they have helpful comments that help us, do the job better. But I want you all to know that when auditors issue an opinion, what they're saying is, if it's an unqualified opinion, that means they don't have any qualifications, and that's what's called a clean audit. So all of these financial statements did receive unqualified opinions, and so they actually list each one separately. So there's the finance. So here are the financials. So this is all schools. Oh, okay. So that's the total for all 3 schools combined. And then this is a little bit of all the revenues that came in, the expenses that went out. The expenses went out was higher than the revenues came in. Ordinarily, that's a bad thing unless you're sitting on money, and we were sitting on money. So the cash balance had to be spent down at one of the schools. So, yeah, so there's all the audit opinions, and I do believe I post these up on our website for all to read. And so there's the detail of each one, each school separately. Those are all your different activity funds. There's a lot of them. The high school's got probably 2.5 pages or something like that. So. I will actually send those to the city so that they can include them in their financial statements. Dr. Sterling is going to read the next slide, and then I will finish up the rest of this presentation on the annual school report.
Which is a big one. Thank you, Jeff. Every school division in Virginia is required to translate all of their financial statements into a form that the state can then combine and compare. This Herculean task takes place every year that nearly all business managers in the division dread the most. Due to the staggering complexity of the assembly of the data, Mr. Ryder worked with 18 Excel files, and I've seen them all, 9 PDFs, 4 Word docs, and 12 CVS text files. All told, 72,725 Excels of information were analyzed, assembled, disassembled, and reassembled again to get the final product. 7 straight days, including weekends, were required to get it filled on time. And normally, we ask for an extension, and Jeff got this done before the extension.
Thank you, Dr. Sir.
Absolutely.
Yes. So this is, like Dr. Stern said, it is an amazingly complex thing to create. Again, it's 51 pages long. I posted up on our website. There's the arrow. There's a little blue box all the way over to the right. It's there now. It wasn't there when I created this slide. So if you read through it, there's pages 3 through 10. There's 7 pages of revenues. And because it's a state form that every division has to use, there's all kinds of zeros. So then 11 to 14 is the expenses, and then 15 to 16 is FTE counts. Pages 17 to 21 has all kinds of averages and statistics, and then there's schedules A through Q that are actually sent in on an Excel sheet. And I just wanted to say that if you do decide to read it or try to get through it, there's no, on the second page, they always start out with all of the warnings. There's no errors because it won't accept it if there are errors. They're called fatal errors, and so it keeps kicking it back to me until all the errors are gone. So this is some possible errors or inconsistencies. So what happens? These are normal messages that I have acknowledged them, and I found that they are of no concern. They're just comparisons to prior year data, or they're just observations that the software is making. So, for example, the first item there, it says an invalid GASB 84. All that's saying is that they're just bringing to your attention or the reader's attention that the revenues were less than the expenses for the activity funds. See, and so we know that it's supposed to happen, and so it's fine. Check it off. And then, as you go down, FTE position reported. There wasn't something for the current fiscal year, or there was something in the last fiscal year, and it's not there this year. That's fine. I mean, we add and take off people and functions and objects all the time. Just depends on who we hire. So, the warnings or the division level, they call them errors, but they're not errors. They're just observations and warnings. More observation than anything. So, does anybody have any questions on the annual school report? And if not, then that is my presentation for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder.
All right.
Great job.
Pupil personnel, Dr. Carter.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As you know, the chronic absentee report, chronic attendance has been a challenge, and a challenge that we definitely will overcome very shortly. And we've been talking with the principals, the teams, and they are gung-ho and excited about taking on this challenge and getting this situation under control very quickly. So just to recap, the chronic absentee is defined by missing 10% or more of the school year, regardless of reason. And the chronic absenteeism includes excused and unexcused absences. So it doesn't really matter why the child is out, other than suspension or home base or homebound instruction. It counts. And so here you have level 1, which is 15% or less, which is in the green. You have level 2, which is 16 to 24%, which is in the yellow. And then you have the level 3, which is greater than 25%, and that's where we are at all schools. Then you have R10, which is decreased by 10% or more for the previous year. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the scenarios that I have posed for you tonight. And then finally, you are to take a look at whether you will finally have a level that's based on the current year, or unless cumulative 3 years is more favorable. So you got to figure out, is it more advantageous to do R10, which is reduction by 10%, or you have to just go for the gusto and go straight at it and get those percentages down. So I'm going to get to the highlights because the calculator process is pretty redundant based on what I'm about to show you. So this is the same thing as far as the chart that we just discussed. Now here's the 4-year trend data. So currently, you can see it across the 4-year trend at 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020. The virtual year did not count, and then the post-pandemic where we currently are right now. 57.76%. JP King was at 51.08, and FHS was at 44.07. As of September 9th, we're at 1,036 students, and so we took a look at what the scenarios are. So if you go by R10, as I spoke earlier, is to reduce by 10%. So if we were to, I did the calculations with Ms. Stratton, and I did the calculations. So at SP Morton at 57.76%, so if you reduce by 10%, it would be 5.8%. At JP King Middle School, if you reduce by 10%, it would be 5.1%. And if you reduce FHS by 10%, it will be 4.4%. So if you calculate that all the way through, if you went R10, 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 our numbers are so high that at R10 it would not satisfy it because we only have a 4-year window. So we really have to go at some point higher than a 10% reduction. So I did the numbers with that. So at SP Morton at 57.76%, you would need to decrease by 38% to get to level 2. And then if you want to get to level 1 this year, or at the conclusion of this year, 43% to achieve level 1. At the middle school, we would have to decrease by 26% to get to level 2. We would have to decrease by 36% to get to level 1. At the high school, we would have to decrease by 19% to get to level 2, and 29% to get to level 1. So as we were discussing strategies, it's just the best to just try to take it on. Just take it on. If we fall short, we get to R10, okay, but we just got to take it on. And so they said they could do it. We're going to just take it on. So that's where we are. We're monitoring. We meet weekly. We're working on strategies. We have daily reports and report outs. So here are some basic interventions that we are looking at, clarify for Tier 1. And Tier 1 is just basically what everybody does. We clarify attendance expectations and goals, use of Parent Square. We're educated and engaged students and families about the impact of attendance on achievement. And we ensure accurate data collection, reporting, and monitoring attendance daily. And we're recognizing for good attendance. So for Tier 2, we make a lot of home visits. We'll make personal phone calls. We will even issue cards. We'll develop a mentoring program for each school. And we'll look at other resources that we can tap to for special populations. And then for your wraparound services, which is your Tier 3, we'll utilize student and staff support to identify barriers or to satisfy attendance. We'll check-in and check-out system with interventions. And then we'll also seek the help of other agencies. So we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that our kids get to school. Of course, if they're out sick, there's nothing actually we can do about it. If there's something else that's holding them up, we will make sure we can get them into school. Any questions about the absentees?
So, yes, sir. The reductions then, are you, level 1, that's the green, is that?
Level 1 is the green.
The green, okay, the 15% or less, I think it is, okay. So that's what your that's what your goal?
That's what we have to get to.
That's what
We
you
have to get to that. We have 4 years or less to get to level 1.
Okay.
So
How-
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, just a quick question. So how will the board have periodic reports through this year to see how those numbers are hopefully falling?
Yeah, that'll be another report that's coming up momentarily, and you'll see how we are going to keep the board informed of the attendance, and you'll be informed weekly on where we are, and we're going to show you that form.
Okay, great.
Obviously, COVID is the general term everybody uses, but within that, what else is going on, do you think? Do we have any idea? Is it parents staying home or what? Do you have any idea?
No, some parents are just scared of COVID, and that's been the driving force last year. They wanted to stay home, and so that was the driving force. The other thing I would say on our end is that it was a shortage of teachers, inconsistent staffing. Sometimes we had turnover. We had a lot of problems on our end as well to make sure that we track it. So, I have to acknowledge that and making sure that we tighten up systems and procedures and making sure that we have a backup plan. But Mr. Hall, the main thing for the parents was just the resistance of coming back to school.
Looks like a great plan. It really does.
Thank you.
On that point though about the COVID, not to make this kind of a political issue, but I kind of feel like the COVID narrative became political across the country. So, and misinformation or just hyperbole in the media. So if parents do have questions regarding a specific fear of COVID, and I'm not denying that's a legitimate fear, but if they have questions or looking for science-based answers, is that something the school can direct them to? I know we've had resources on the website.
And we always direct them to the website, what's coming out from CDC, what's coming out from the VDOE, because that's all we can realistically educate them on, because we can't go deeper than what's been provided to us.
Correct. Okay.
We also have 2 COVID nurses
Right.
that are here, and they're constantly keeping the public educated. And so if there are any questions, they're here, and we're constantly providing information to the public.
Good.
So they're rolling that out now every month.
Good.
And you want to go over your
Sure, we'll go over the intervention plan. So one of the procedures I was speaking of, Mr. Hall, is that we have a uniform conference or a template that now, when we get to 5 cumulative days, just 5 cumulative days regular, we will reach out to the parent, have some type of conference, and fill this form out. And so that we can better assist to see what is going on in the family, so that we can have an intervention early on. We don't want to wait till 10 days that has come down the road where they've had cumulative absences, and then things get out of control. Because as we've calculated the days now, with our days, each student, 16 is the magic number. So no student can miss more than 16 days of school before they're out of number 1. So we have to really, really keep monitoring our daily attendance and our controls to see where our students are. So when we get to day 5 cumulative, we will have this meeting and reach out with the parents and begin to have discussions about what is going on. So this is just a form as one of the interventions that we put together. Ms. Moore, was there another one regarding the daily attendance sheet? Was that?
I'm gonna have Mita come up and do that one.
Any questions for me?
No, but one thing that I wanted to recognize is that we continue to reach out to the parents, and that has been a struggle for the division for a while. But something that I've heard not just from you, but from each of the principals, has been the expectations are given to the students as well, so that they have ownership, and that you're clarifying the attendance and expectation goals and educating and engaging the students, and then the middle school principal, you can ask the children what ICE means, and then the elementary school principal saying that you have to get the rules and regulations down before you can get to the teaching. And I know, because I have students at the high school, that their presence is known and in the hallways, and the safety expectation and everything. So the students all throughout the division have ownership in everything that the schools and the division is doing. And I just wanted to say, I think that's a great thing, because if we're training up the next generation and they're going to be the parents of the children that we have in the schools in the future, then I think that's one of the best ways that we can increase parental involvement is by starting it now.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
Right. If I may tag on to what Ms. Johnson is saying is, my perspective too about attendance is not only is it required, and that's an expectation because it's mandated, but to take ownership, I think, of recognizing the importance for a child and a parent to recognize the importance of the education, how it's going to benefit them personally. I believe that's an important part of them taking ownership, for them to develop that benefit. Why am I going to school? Why am I being told I have to go to school, instead of just doing it because I'm told to? But they value it and want to come.
Right. And so we also understand that. That's why, as you speak of parent engagement, having the parents actually come to the school and take part of being in the school instead of just wanting to drop off and having no activities in the school.
Right.
It's an ownership and getting to know the teachers and becoming more of a partner. And so I believe that's some of the things that we talked about as well.
Yeah.
It's just it's just figuring out more ways for them to have ownership and don't be afraid of coming into the school.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Turn it over to Ms. Scott.
All right,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Chan. And you can go into how we pulled everybody together.
Dr. Sterling called us in yesterday, myself, Ms. Fonzer, who is our data manager, Ms. Phillips, Mr. Lowe, and we had some conversations about expectations of what she would like to see for tracking. And so we showed her what we were already doing and how we were already tracking it, and we are tracking it on a daily report that goes out to the administration that's by student. But what we really wanted to see and what we weren't already looking at is, okay, so you're getting a list of kids that were absent every day, but what is our percentages? How are those percentages translating to what the state accreditation levels are? So we met and we discussed it. And so we're going to start every week. You will get an overview slide like this that tells you how many kids were at school, how many are in our membership. So how many were enrolled, how many of those kids that were enrolled actually attended school, and then what is that percentage, so that we know every single week, even day by day basically, what our percentages are. And if we need to send in more reinforcements, we need to have deeper conversations with one school versus another, we know what to target. And we'll also have a report that looks like this, that just breaks it down every day. It allows us to see it in a quick, pretty little red, yellow, green. Dr. Sterling always likes the colors. The quicker you can look at it, the better. So we will have these reports that we can share with you. And as an attendance team, we will continue to keep this information up. We've already shared it with the schools, with the expectation being that these forms are entered the information every day by 2 o'clock, so that we have an idea before the next day what the previous day looked like. So then this is just J.B. King's data for the first week. And the high school's data for the first week. And are there any questions about what you're seeing?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I was just wondering how or if the Franklin High School attendance, whatever, differs from the elementary school and the middle school. Because, well, I mean, even the middle school, I guess they go from class to class, like the high school. But we're looking at credits now that they need for graduation, and we have the block scheduling, so they're finished with something at the end of the semester and they go into something else. So does that have to be tracked differently? Like a student could risk chronic absenteeism if they're missing the same class period every day, or do they have to miss a certain amount of the school day in order to fall under that umbrella?
Go ahead, Mina, do your thing.
So attendance is multifaceted in the way that we report it to the state, and it plays a part of many different state reports. So the first thing is that you have to have a significant block, and that is the block that if the student misses that block, that reports back to the state they were absent the entire day. So because it's just the way the state sets it up. So we have to pick a significant block. So each school has an identified significant block that no matter what, if your child just missed that one block, they still report back to the state that day as absent. So that's the first way attendance is looked at. The other way is that Franklin High School and J.P. King take meeting attendance. So meaning every time they transfer from one class to another, attendance is taken again. So that kind of attendance affects our SRC, our student record collection, which is a state report that we do. And that kind of attendance is where you get into your attendance plans, your attendance conferences, your truancy expectations. So you're reporting to the Department of Education what you're doing for those meeting attendance times. Okay, and then SP Morton takes attendance once a day in homeroom. So if you're not present in homeroom but you come in later, the office changes theirs to a tardy code. But they only have the one time a day when they take attendance.
Thank you.
So board members, this will be uploaded to Board Docs, and we're going to upload it every Monday so you can get the entire week. And what I really like about it, like she said, you get a quick visual. If you start seeing yellow and red, that's when we start having conversations, especially if it's consistent. But if it's one or two, okay, we may be able to justify it. But I'm very pleased to say, I mean, the year started out great, you know, over 90% at every single school, and we just want to keep that up. This week looks just as stellar. So hopefully our plan is going to work, so we have that transparency when it comes to reporting out to the board where we are with attendance, because I know that's a huge focus for the board.
I have a quick question. Which block is the significant block? Or is that supposed to be a secret?
So at the high school, it's second block. At J.P. King and SP Morton, it's their first block.
The kids really don't know that. They just come to school, right?
And that's set by the state?
No, we choose what our significant block is.
Right.
And what our significant reporting time is.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sue.
Mita.
Thank you. Great job. She created all these forms. I appreciate her. Mita, thank you. Because she has to get on with her daughter.
Dr. Sterling.
Thank you, Mr. Hull, Chairman Hull. This is the superintendent's report for this week. I'm very excited to share with you the report and pictures. If you could scroll up a little bit, I'm sure a lot of you know this event. A lot of board members attended, and I want to thank you for that. And this is our Back to School Community Day that happened August 26, 2020. It was a stellar event, and we were so excited that so many of our community members and partners, if you can see the tent, came out to support our students coming back to school. If you could scroll up just a little bit more. Next, you have open house and the first day of school. We opened the doors up a little bit earlier this year, and as you can see, the kids coming in, meeting the principals, meeting community members. We have a board member there greeting students on the first day of school. It was really, you have Brothers Keepers that was there, and I want to thank them for their support, as well as the Franklin Police Department, who is always on the front line supporting Franklin City Public Schools. I was at SP, I went to all three schools, but I spent a lot of time at SP Morton gathering pre-K and kindergartners that didn't know where their class was. So that was pretty fun working with them. And as you can see, We had a number of parents, which we have every day, walking their children to school. And that's one of the things the principal said, that he was so pleased to see so many families coming with their children to make certain that they got to school, and they do it almost every day. So this is pictures from our first day of school. Next, we had Party on the Patio. Some of you missed it. I tried to text some board members to get them down there and enjoying the festivities, but hopefully you will not miss the next one, because this one was absolutely fantastic. The day was wonderful. The wind was blowing. There was breeze, and we had over 137 people attend this event. So we're very excited about that. And this is a goal, and I want to make certain that we highlight the goals of the board, which is extremely important, especially when there are activities that are aligned to those goals. So the board's goal is the board will support the recruitment and retention of quality teachers and staff. First retention and retainment event was at Don Poncho's, and we thank them because we have another partner, and he really, look at him, he was on vacation. And you talked to Ms. Moore, making certain that we had everything that we need. I think it was Puerto Vallarta or something like that. Yeah, he was out there. And he called us back just to make certain we had everything that we needed, and that he wanted to make certain that he became a partner of the school district. So we're very happy about that. And that happened on September 9th, and it was a beautiful event. But not just giving the event, we had a survey that was launched yesterday, because we want the feedback from our teachers, and this is the survey. From that, we did a Survey Monkey and went out to everybody, and as you could see, questions that were asked: were you able to attend the Party on the Patio? Did you enjoy the atmosphere of the event? After attending this event, would you be likely to attend future FCPS activities? List your suggestions for future events, and please provide your name if you would like to join the planning committee. As you can see, out of those 137, and the survey is still open, 70 employees responded. 97.14% said that they were able to attend. And of course, it was over 100, but that at this time we only had 68 that responded. 68, all 68 said that they enjoyed the atmosphere, which gave us 97.14%, and likely to attend future events. That went up even more at 98%, so we're very happy about that. Suggestions from the faculty, staff, bus drivers, nutrition workers, all stated they would like to see bowling, recognition at games, costume party. That was a new one for us. Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas party. They would like a tailgate party, kickball, a spades competition. I had to figure out what that was, but that's the card competition. I had to go back to my college years. I went back to my college years. Okay. And a sip and paint party, and I thought that was fantastic as well. But what we really enjoyed was that 15 of our employees volunteered to be a part of the planning team for the next event. So that was quite exciting. So board, we are making certain that your board goals are being implemented.
Can I ask what sip and paint is?
Oh, it's only...
I was afraid to ask.
At all of our events, they are definitely non-alcoholic, so you will have a tasty lemonade or a cold iced tea, one or the other. That's all we provide at every event.
And paint as in...
Yes, you
like
paint,
a picture,
yeah.
there,
Okay,
and
thank you.
they give you
I'm not insinuating. I'm asking for clarification. Yeah.
And he was very sincere. I'm so sorry about that. Yes, they're sipping their cold, non-alcoholic beverage while they're painting. So yes.
Okay.
And they get to take the painting home with them. So it's really that's
good,
fun.
Good. I paint. I like that.
All right, FCPS parent engagement, and this is another goal of the board. FCPS parent engagement goals: giving parents strategies to use at home to help their child succeed. This is a goal. By June 2023, FCPS will receive family feedback, input, and/or participation of 85% of the total population at each school. measured by participation rosters. Annual activities or workshops to advance parental participation at events and promote parental outreach and involvement are planned. All activities or workshops incorporate reading, math, or science to assist the parent with supporting their child, as well as community resources to support the family unit. Activities or workshops to include educational information on how to increase student attendance, which is another goal of our board, will be provided at the scheduled event. To achieve this goal, funding is allocated to support programming and to determine the needs of the families. Surveys will be sent per year after each event, and pre and post surveys will be sent to the parents, again, using Parent Square. School funding for parent engagement, because we always like to be transparent with how we're using our money. Title I funds are awarded from the federal government to support student in high poverty areas. More than 60% of these funds support additional faculty and staff to directly support our students, i.e. our curriculum specialists are a part of that as well. The remaining funds are used to purchase various materials above and beyond what is purchased by the City of Franklin schools. Mr. Todd Riddick is the lead parent engagement coordinator at SP Morton Elementary School and J.P. King Jr. because they are Title I schools, and he is written into the Title I grant. School support by general lead is going to be Amy Phillips. She will lead all activities at Franklin High School, which I really feel is extremely important that we don't forget about those high school students whose parents also need to be engaged, especially with the level of coursework, advanced placement, tests that are coming up. Our parents still need to be educated on what's available to them. And Ms. Phillips, who is in the audience, thank you for attending the board meeting this evening, will be leading those activities. All right. And I'm not going to read a lot of this, but the 22-23 Title I Fund for Parent Engagement, as you can see, for instructional materials, parent engagement contracts, and the board will have this information, and it goes right from our Title I Fund, and it's written in our grant. Next. And these are some of the opportunities we're excited about. September, we have a family science night, which is also a school improvement focus for us at all 3 schools. So we wanted to kick off the year with what we felt was going to be our focus, which is a science night. And we're going to have the Virginia Living Science Museum, where they actually have live animals and things that you can touch and stuff like that. So we're excited about that. October, we have Bullying Prevention Month, Fall Festival, Annual Title I Meeting, Literacy and Math Night. And remember, when we talk about parent engagement, we are talking specifically to educate the parent on how to support their child be successful. Not activity, even though there's activities for children, but we want to make certain the parents know and understand the strategies. And November is Family Again Science Night, and then you have the Winter Festival, Holiday Concert, Literacy, and Math at SP Morton. Again, you'll have the Science Night, Bullying Prevention, and the same activities will be done because Mr. Riddick is the lead, so he'll make certain that J.P. King has them as well. And parent engagement opportunities at the high school, Parent Symposium, Welcome Back to School Resource Overview, Bullying Prevention Month, keeping that theme at all 3 schools, and Parent Symposium Educational Opportunities, Insecurities Check, I really like that, and providing resources to parents, making certain if the parent has different types of insecurities that need to be met, that we can provide them with resources in the community to make certain that that bridge is that bridge is closed. Parent engagement encouragement, Parent Square implementation. Everyone in this division has been trained on Parent Square. And if they need additional training, Josh will launch his teams to make certain that they know how to use this digital communication platform. It encourages, and I know that was something one of our board members is very adamant about, is there two-way communication? And yes, this tool allows two-way communication. And again, I, as a parent, want to just say, with the use of Parent Square, one of the teachers actually took a picture of my child doing a great homework assignment that I did not know she was doing, and she sent it to me through Parent Square, so with the thumbs up. That made me feel amazing that I got to see what my child was doing in class real time. Yeah, I didn't have to wait to open house or look on the wall to see what she did. She took the picture, uploaded it, and it was sent to me. So, and of course, I text back and was like, way to go, that's awesome. But let's look at the Parent Square participation. 419 parents are registered out of 139, and we're continuously making certain that we are registering our parents at SP Morton. They're the numbers. 40.33 parents have registered as of September 12th. Our goal is to get that to 50% by the end of the month, and then we'll take 25% at each additional month. And our goal is 100% Parent Square registration as a division. Any questions? I know this is a lot, but I hope it's good information because we are very excited about this. No? Okay. Board Chairman Holt, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for that sterling report. Item 9, business by school board members. First of all, we have some dates. On Friday, September the 30th, we have our VSBA training. That's mandatory, and Dr. Sterling and I have talked to them about the agenda for that day. And some of the issues we talked about in our closed session today will be on that. Already were on that, as a matter of fact. Thursday, October the 6th is our next work session, 6 p.m. That will be at SP Morton School. And then our next board meeting after that, October 20. Any business by school board members?
I just wanted to give an update to one of the things that the young lady was saying earlier. Our volleyball team did win today, so we beat. Sorry, thought I'd throw that out there. So, good job.
Today was the new food bank opening on South Street. I did attend, and it is amazing. People were coming in to shop with fresh produce, so I think it'll definitely be a resource for the schools and the community to use. So just wanted to add that in there.
Awesome.
We will have minutes to review, and we will look at those at our next meeting. Anyone have any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. No abstentions. We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
He startled me. I forgot he